Hello and welcome again, and here we are on the pause screen once again. So if you don't know what this is my series for tips and tricks for the Hitti campaign. Now, if you haven't watched the first two videos, you can watch them if you want, or not. You can just keep on watching this one, because these videos are basically I'm making them and explaining the tactics and stuff I use to beat the missions. They're not an entirely in-depth tutorial or walkthrough, so I won't be going over every single step I do to get to the defeat the enemies and everything and stuff like that. Otherwise, these videos would honestly take forever, and they are already taking a little bit long in my opinion. I wouldn't mind having them even shorter, but there are some things I usually have to explain in them and stuff like that. So, if you are kind of confused as to what this mission is, this is the Age of Empires, the third and final mission for the Age of Empires Definitive Edition Hitti campaign. If you played the original Age of Empires, you may remember that there were some more missions, but the developers of the Definitive Edition took those missions out because they believed they were kind of too easy and kind of functioned like a tutorial when you already had the Rise of Egypt tutorial you could play. So this last mission, just to catch you up to speed if you haven't watched the two previous missions videos, is pretty much a big battle, and you're going up against the Egyptians, the Ramses, and then the redivision here, RE division. I guess it's Ramses East division, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, the main dude you're going up against is Ramses. I just call them the yellow and red Egyptian teams, though. Then, of course, there's me, Cheese Sandwich, blue. I'm Hitties, because that's what the campaign makes you play. And I'll straight off say right before I unpause the game is that Ramses is the one you should be worrying about. The RE division is kind of a bit more of a pushover. So, to start off this mission, they give you a lot to deal with, and I'm kind of just going to cover what I do usually. So the first thing I'm going to do is double-click all of these chariots here, regular chariots, and then hold down my control key and then press 2, assigning them to control group 2, and then doing the same thing and assigning my chariot archers to control group 1, and I'm going to move this guy a bit further back here. The reason why I'm doing this is because this guy's a hero, and you don't want him to turn on the enemy side. What I mean by that is that the first time I was actually playing this mission, the enemies straight up just converted him. Yeah, they just converted straight up. Yeah, they turned him on their side, and then he was fighting for them, and I don't want that to happen. So, what I'm doing next is ordering my villagers to mine stone, and I've got 1 on gold currently. I should probably actually have 1 more on gold. 2 on each. Oh, and yes, this is a regular occurrence where the enemies will just continuously attack you, but the good news is that you've got guard towers here to protect you. These things are actually very valuable because you can't actually build them yourself. You're stuck in the Bronze Age, only able to build sentry towers, and you're never able to build a tower this good. So keep these things around. They're kind of your lifeblood to survive. If they get destroyed, though, don't worry too much. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to research the wheel here. I basically ranted and raved about how much I absolutely love that technology in one of the previous videos of this, because I frankly still do. If you don't know what the wheel does, I'll give you a really quick explanation. Pretty much it makes it so that all of your villagers walk faster, and it is required for you to build chariots and chariot archers. Like right now, the chariot archers I have, they won't actually be able to be replaced at all.
Oh no.
I'll have to just I'll have to research the wheel technology before I can build more. Yeah, so as you can see, the sea is going to be one of the main places you're going to be attacked at, but I'm actually not super duper worried here because I have these ships here defending me. Also, by the way, when first starting this mission, your ships will actually be scout ships, so that's 1 grade weaker than the ships you have here. These here are war galleys, so that's like pretty much 1 upgrade up from the worst ship in the game, scout ships. And now here we are with the RE division attacking. So even though I said they were pushover, as you can see, they're just going in and attempting to decimate my archers. The reason why I'm not really controlling them or really doing too much is because these are just regular old bowmen. They're pretty much the worst type of bowmen you can get, and as soon as possible, I want better bowmen. Right, now... Okay, good. I thought I built a little less woodcutters, but I do have 2. Reason why I'm getting quite a few woodcutters here, about 5, And yes, I count that as quite a few because your population is only 50 in this mission. Yeah, so the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to be able to build more chariot archers quite quickly. Like as soon as possible, because in my opinion, as you can see here, they are an excellent raiding force, and without my ships being here, these guys could actually, like, wreak havoc on all my units. I'm actually totally fine with them attacking my bunch of chariot archers, because, while they're attacking them, I can just get them over to the temple over here that I've just, well, I haven't just built it, but I've just built a priest. So, you should probably already know how priests work if you play this game enough, but one of the main things I use them for is, instead of converting, I use them for healing my own units. Because, in my opinion, you're getting a lot of value for your money, or, like, resources in this case, if you get a lot of your units injured, but none of them die, and then you tell each and every one of those units to just go back home and get healed up by a priest, and if they heal back to full, that's like a full unit's worth that you've just, well, kind of saved money on, if that makes sense. You're not using resources to, like, pay for all these units. Oh, and the reason why I'm actually trying to save this villager here so much is because he has stone on him currently, and I don't want him to, like, die and then he won't be able to drop off that stone. But yes, it also pays to, like, save all your other units as well. Oh, and if any of your units, like any of your ranged units, you feel like they're moving a little too fast, just set them on this stance here, the stand ground stance, and then they'll stop moving as much. Yeah, so as you can see in this mission, the enemies do attack you pretty relentlessly, and I'm just going to, well, I am, and also you are if you play this mission, you're just going to have to pretty much put up with their attacks, and defend against them. If it does, however, get too hard, you can change it to a lower difficulty, because right now I am playing on the moderate difficulty. You might want to turn it lower for your first time playing it, and then the second time you play this mission, you might be okay with upping the difficulty a bit. But don't feel ashamed if you lower the difficulty. There are no achievements for completing all of the Hitti missions on a lower difficulty than moderate. There's only one achievement you get, and that's just for completing all the Hitti missions. So you could potentially stick it down to easiest and have pretty much a cakewalk through the entire mission. So, one of the things I usually do in all these missions is I do what's called putting a cut in. It's basically going to be really quick transition, or pretty much no transition. It's going to pretty much cut to the next clip, and that is what I'm going to do now, because I've got a bit of scouting to do with the scout cavalry, and frankly, you don't really need to see every single bit of scouting I do. You can just see what I've scouted afterwards, in other words, the aftermath of my scouting. So yeah, I'll see you then, even though it's in the middle of kind of a hectic fight, but don't worry about that. You see plenty of these by the time the video's over. And I'm back. So, I'll explain what I've done. Down here, I pretty much got a whole heap of broadswordsmen because I went and researched an upgrade at the government center here that made it that all foot soldier units, like all like non-mounted infantry, so anything you build from the barracks, cost half the population they normally do. So I was able to build a whole bunch of them. And then I've also went and I've scouted the RE Egyptian division down here, and apparently, according to the map, they have kind of a pathetic base. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a whole bunch of my priests, which I've already done, 2 of them. I only have 3, by the way, because that's all I felt like I really needed. And then I'm just going to get this whole bunch of broadswordsmen down here and kind of use them as a siege unit to take down the enemy towers and such. Oh, yeah, by the way, this upgrade here, the bronze shield upgrade on the storage pit, it can be quite useful for, well, attacking towers with broadswordsmen because it gives them 1+ arrow resistance, and that's exactly what towers will shoot at you, arrows. Yeah, so as you can see, the RE division is trying to shield their towers over here with some villagers, but it's really not working. This generally happens when you just completely swarm a place with broadswordsmen. It's going to move them on to get to the next tower. And also, another route you could go in this mission is you could decide, hey, I want to get some catapults, or stone throwers. That's like the worst version of catapults you build first. And I want to just go and attack the enemy that way with those, so that the towers can't even touch my units. That is a valid strategy as well, by the way. I just felt like going in there with broadswordsmen. Oh, and also, as you can see here, the Egyptians are trying to attack my base here, but I just built a whole heap of towers because I want to protect this area because it's got a nice tree line and some gold. Really, once all the gold is mined and all the trees are cut, I won't really have an actual reason to protect that area at all. Also, as you can see here, the RE division... Hold on, this is actually kind of loud with all the clang of swords and stuff. I'm just going to go and turn the game sound volume just a tiny little bit lower. That's much better. Also, just gotta resize the window real quick. That just tends to happen with the way I'm playing. Yeah, so as you can see here, the enemies are kind of turning out to be a real pushover. Like I said, the RE division really does not fight back that well. Like they send, like for their cavalry units, they are sending scout cavalry against me, which, by the way, is a terrible idea. You should never use scout cavalry as an attacking force if you can avoid it. Like, at the very least, build chariots. It's kind of like the classy option next to just the stupid option. Scout cavalry do not have that much attack at all. They cost 90 food to build, so they actually cost more food to build than a chariot does. And as well as that, well, I guess chariots do cost a little bit of wood, but at this point, you usually have plenty of wood. I mean, trees are pretty much a free resource on this map. You can just keep gathering them and gathering them and gathering them, and they just take ages to run out. Oh, at this point, one thing I really should actually mention is the fact that, destroying this enemy team here, like completely wiping them out, is actually optional. The same with the Ramses team. What your actual mission objective in this mission is to just retrieve 2 war chests and bring them back to your starting place. So this is actually the first war chest I've got right here. So I could, if I wanted to, leave the RE division here alone and stop attacking them. But in my opinion, I mean, if you got this far, why leave them alone? Just destroy everything they have, remove them as a threat to you, remove them as a enemy team, and on the plus side, get your score higher. So I guess you can, I don't know, brag about it online if you feel like it. Although I guess for a person to have like just a really high score in this mission, I guess what they'd most likely do is just play this mission for hours on end and just let the enemy continuously rebuild unit after unit and send them after them on like one of the highest difficulties. Because the more units you kill, the more score you get at the end. Oh, look at that. This is so cute. The Ramses division is actually trying to send a... Oh! Okay, and I shouldn't call them the Ramses division. It's actually not what they call. Just, well, Ramses was trying to send a single chariot archer against me. And I actually didn't even really realize what I was doing there. So what I was doing was, I accidentally had one of my priests selected, and I right-clicked on that enemy chariot. Then what happened was that the priest was trying to convert the chariot, and sometimes enemies will have like weird target priorities. For example, this dude here, what it looks like he's trying to do is he's trying to like move to the back of my lines so he can find one of my units and kill it. However, that's not really the smart thing to do in this situation because there was a bunch of melee units right next to him which promptly murdered him. Right, and now that the RE division has resigned, you really won't have to worry about them as a threat anymore. This is pretty much showing you how easy it in fact is to defeat them. Also, what I'm doing here, amassing just a gigantic navy, even though you only have access to war galleys, which aren't like the best ships you can build in the game. Well, one of the best are triremes. Then you have catapult triremes, but sometimes you want just regular old triremes because catapult triremes function a lot like stone throwers, and they have splash damage. So yeah, as you can see here, the enemies have got some, the Ramses has got some boats and archers on the open seas, but they aren't really that much of an issue to me because my boats can just murder all of it. Same with this chariot archer here. Like, sure, this is all shallow, so you can walk up right to my boats, but what's he gonna do then? Stab it a few times and die? Yes, he is. Oh, and another really great thing is that even without really researching many upgrades, these boats here, as you can see, they have 6 range normally, and then they have +5 because the Hittis, the faction I'm playing, well, you have to play them in the campaign, like I mentioned before, in this campaign, like I mentioned before, but they have extra range to all of their archer units. So they're actually able to outrange a lot of things that you normally wouldn't be able to outrange, which that's just straight up neat. That's one of the things I love about the faction. So because of that, I'm able to just completely outrange this tower with nothing but a bunch of war galleys and just destroy it. And I'm just going to move on to the next tower because why not? And as you can see also, the Egyptians have an academy here, and this is actually the start of their base. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you can notice, but these villages here, they're actually walking kind of slowly. If you notice any villagers are walking slower than yours, don't convert them because that means that the enemy hasn't researched the wheel upgrade, and upgrades do count when you're converting units, so you'll be pretty much converting a worse type of villager than the type of villager you have, and at that point you're better off just not converting them at all. So, I'm going to put another cut in here because my plan next involves some kind of boring stuff. What I'm planning to do is completely take over this area, mine all this stone, and then build a series of towers all along the riverbank, and maybe even up here, so I pretty much control the entire side of this map, because that is generally the way I like to play. I'm actually playing kind of defensively. You probably could get a lot more aggressive in this mission, and really take the fight to the enemies, and just ruin them, but that's just not the way I like to play. So, yeah, as I said before, I'll be putting a cut in since it's getting kind of boring now, and I'll get back to you once I've built all those towers. Okay, so here we are after that cut I mentioned, and a decent amount of stuff has happened, and maybe I actually should have recorded a bit of it, but all that really happened, well, when you really think about it, was a few enemy attacks here and there. Like, they sent a bunch of enemy units and attacked me over here a bunch, so I just built up all the towers to defend against it. They sent a bunch of enemies across the river and such to try and hassle me over here, and right now I've just got all these ships parked right here with a single builder constantly repairing them because I want to make sure that this stone right here ends up being mine. Also same with this stone over here. I'm just trying to pretty much steal a lot of stone off the enemies so that I'm able to build more of my own towers. They also attacked me with ships a bit over here, but that wasn't too hard to deal with, I guess. Oh, and apparently they also have a priest, which I don't really care that much about either, because, as you can see there, I was able to just kill it with my ships. Yeah, and now it's time to actually launch an assault on the enemy, because I've got all these chariot archers here, I've got my army right here, and I've even built 2 stone throwers, which I'm going to assign to Control Group 5. Oh, and the reason why I have the hero here assigned to Control Group 4 is because I want to personally control him a bunch and make sure that he doesn't get converted by enemy priests, because as I mentioned before, the first time I was playing this, that happened. Yeah, so like what's happened in previous missions so far, the enemy has just decided to, for some odd reason, kind of lay off with the attacks. They're not attacking me that much anymore. I don't really understand why this is happening. Well, I kind of do. I mean, on one hand I kind of understand, on one hand I kind of don't. But the enemies in campaign missions and regular just skirmish games tend to do this somewhat often, where they'll just stop attacking you after a little while and get really, really sluggish. I mentioned that in one of the previous videos of this. So that's what I was trying to say. I was going to maybe say recording at one point, but no, I should just call it a video. These transport ships here, I wouldn't recommend building any yourself, because honestly, in my opinion, they're a bit useless, because why would you use a transport ship which is kind of slow to begin with when it's unupgraded? Like this light transport can only hold 5 units, it takes up a population slot, and then on top of that, there's shallows pretty much everywhere. Like any part with this like kind of rocky-ish terrain, that means that you can just get a bunch of units and then well, order them to traverse the terrain without any issues whatsoever. Yeah, so even though this mission right here is probably only going to include 3 cuts, and that was the starting one where I went and, defended my home base, then another one where I went and just decimated the RE division, and then now a final one where I'm just taking care of Ramses. That's really pretty much all it's going to need, because they really don't seem to have much here except for a few towers and stuff. Oh, there's one thing though I really should have covered, and that is at the market there was a certain upgrade. I'm pretty sure it was called craftsmanship. I researched it because it makes your lumberjacks chop wood a lot faster. So as you can see over here, they've just gotten rid of pretty much all of this forest. And then also another thing that we'll also do is, oh damn it. So they converted one of my catapults here. The good news is, it's all so close to my my other units that he doesn't really know what to do. Like this guy here, he's just chopping it with his sword, and the catapult's kind of freaking, already stone throw rather. It's kind of freaking out. It doesn't know what to do. Kind of the same thing is also happening over here. Like, yes, I lost a single chariot archer there, but honestly, big deal. Like maybe I lost 2 of them, but still. Big deal. I can just build more of them easy peasy for wood. And losing a single stone thrower, again, big deal. I have 1,500 gold, now a tiny bit less, but yeah, I definitely have enough gold to just rebuild it. Yeah, so I'm glad actually I was recording when I went to attack this place, because as you can see now, this place can be kind of a little tiny bit difficult to deal with, because they sometimes just like to send out a few priests and just, well, you know, attack your stuff. Ooh, wait, this gives me an idea. This might seem a little cruel, but even though that scout cavalry was very loyal to me, I'm going to delete him, because now that gives me an extra population, and I can have 3 stone throwers, because the more stone throwers or catapults you have, the faster you will be able to, well... Oh, dang it. Oh, damn, double dang it. I was not expecting that. So apparently by me building this tower, the enemy has gotten super pissed all of a sudden and sent a bunch of villagers to go and try and knock it down. So I just decided what kind of 2 can play that game. I'm just going to get a bunch of my ships to just shoot all your villagers down. You like them apples. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is great. Okay, so, since... Oh, not again. They converted another one of my catapults while I wasn't looking. The good news is, as you can see here, the enemy priests tend to be kind of slow. He's moonwalking there. Oh, this is even better. Okay, so what's happened here is I'm pretty sure the enemies don't actually like to change the stance of their units. So what's happened here is, since I kept my catapults on the no attack stance until I tell them to, the enemy gets the catapults on the no attack stance, doesn't know how to change the unit stance, kind of sits there going, what do I do? I don't really know what I should be doing here. My catapult isn't attacking for some stupid reason. And they don't know how to fix it. Like buying a broken machine off eBay and just sitting there looking at it, not even trying to fix it. It's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, so guess it's just time to build even more catapults and then just send them over here and destroy the towers. Because I know even if they have a few priests, I will deal with them eventually. Like, I've got enough chariot archers here for sure to deal with them. And once these towers are dealt with here, also these towers up here, then I will be able to just send all my units in and not worry about towers. And because of that, I'll be able to just, any priests I find, I'll be like, oh, you chariot dudes, just go in there and kill everything. It won't be long now, and this tower will be just all dead. I could try and I could actually also try and convert one of the enemy priests with my priest, but oh wait, no, never mind. I actually don't even have that technology yet. You need to research something, or rather, forget what it's called. But if you don't research that, then you're not able to convert enemy priests with yours. Oh, neat. Here's their temple, as a matter of fact. So once that's destroyed, then you don't have to deal with any priests, and then you can just, well, I guess once that's done and finished with, you can just kind of swoop in there, acquire the second war chest, and be off with it. And then once you are, you've pretty much won this mission. Then it's just a matter of deciding, hey, do I want to destroy every single building in here, fun, and get an increased score, or do I just want to grab the war chest and get out of here? So, you pretty much know what that means. That's actually like this mission pretty much covered, because as you can see here, there's only like one tower left. The enemy aren't even producing any units. I've pretty much won at this point, and when I've won, I don't like to drag out the videos any longer than they need to be. So, yeah. Thanks for watching this series. You now know how to beat the entire Hitti campaign. Get yourself a neat little achievement. And yes, this mission pretty much turned out to be a bit of a pushover. And that's how it played out last time as well. In fact, the enemies were a little more aggressive this time than they were the last time. Like, when on the off-screen moments when they attacked me, which, again, I said I really should have recorded, they actually sent off a decent amount of enemies to attack me, but I defeated them all in the end, so it didn't really matter. So, yeah, like I mentioned before, or maybe I haven't mentioned this yet, but thanks for watching this series. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the little fun antics I had with the enemy teams, and I might cover some more of this stuff, like how to beat the Glory of Greece campaign, or perhaps the Roman one, because when I turned the difficulty on the first mission, that was actually kind of difficult to face. So, yeah, like I was saying, thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it.